Welcome back to Racing Rundown. This is the second segment of Racing Rundown around the world that we are doing this week. I mentioned that depending on time, we might get around to doing this, and I will be getting around to doing this race. This is the Nassau Stakes. Should scroll back up to show you the conditions of this race. Mile and a quarter, and this is the final Group 1 of this Goodwood Festival. We talked about both the Sussex and the Goodwood Cup. We had Stradivarius second there, and obviously Baid, another impressive performance, won that Sussex Stakes today. Like I said, another impressive performance for him. And we're going to get into this Nassau Stakes now. Very intriguing race. There's a lot of horses in here that I think are very evenly matched, and I don't think the market is necessarily reflective of the talent disparity between these horses. I'll get to the favorite right now, who is right now in the best odds, even money, and that is Nashwa, the French Oaks winner. And I'll come right out and say I don't like even money on Nashwa. I don't like Nashwa that much to begin with, and especially not at even money. So I will be going against Nashwa in here. But why am I going to be doing that? Well, she did have a good effort last time out at Chantilly in the French Oaks. She won by a neck over La Parisienne there, and it was a good effort. But the read on Epsom has changed in the month and a half that has followed the French Oaks. Going into the French Oaks, it looked like the form from Epsom was very good. Obviously, you had Tuesday and Emily Upjohn, very impressive winners, and then Nashwa third in there, Concert Hall behind her, who I personally have liked a lot. I have missed a lot on Concert Hall. I'll get to talking about her later because she is obviously in this race. But since Epsom, Tuesday was badly beaten by Westover in the Irish Derby. In the King George, Emily Upjohn did not run a step at all in there. She finished last behind Westover, who was beaten very badly, fifth. And then Concert Hall has had two very subpar efforts, one a fifth, officially a fourth, but she did finish fifth. There was a disqualification there, but very much well beaten in the Pretty Polly. And then she came over to Belmont Park and ran in the Belmont Oaks, and she was fourth in that race. So the form from Epsom has not been good post the French Oaks. Nashwa was really the last it's an indicator that there was good form from Epsom. And it was a short victory in the French Oaks. And at even money with a horse that's coming out of a race with the form as questionable as it is from Epsom, I'm going to take against Nashwa. And like I said, I think that this group of horses is very close to each other in terms of their abilities to win this race. We'll get to the second choice in this race now. That's Lilac Road. She's 6-1 right now, coming out of a Group 2 victory at York, going just a bit longer than a mile and a quarter. And in the start before that, she was beaten fifth, but only beaten 2 lengths by Dreamloper at Newmarket in her first start of the year. That was off a break, so you wonder if she did need the start off the break and came back second time out to a strong effort for her. I don't have any issues with the effort that she had last time, but I like Dreamloper in this race, and I'll get to and that's the big reason why I'm not on Lilac Road in here, because I like Dreamloper, and Dreamloper beat her at Newmarket, and Dreamloper didn't run great at the Curragh in the Pretty Polly either, but Dreamloper has 2 starts this year that have been good, that I can say, okay, yeah, the form there is pretty good. And obviously, I mentioned that in Group 2 that both Lilac Road and Ville de Grasse, who I will talk about later on in this, was in there. But she also did win a Group 1 at Longshot, the Prix d'Isfahan, actually the first race that we did on Racing Rundown Around the World. So Dreamloper was a horse that it sounded like I was pondering there, ultimately didn't pick her in that spot. Definitely regret not picking her there, because I feel like that's something that I could have had in hindsight there. But I like Dreamloper in this spot, a mile and a quarter. Maybe that will, the race at the Curragh last time, the Pretty Polly, I'm willing to look past it. She generally does have better form when she's running over good or good to firm ground, and that's what she's going to get. It is going to be good to firm in this Nassau Stakes. So she was a winner at Newmarket when she got that. It was good to soft at Longshot earlier this year. But again, I think Dreamloper is worth another try. It was a very bad effort at the Curragh, and I don't like Concert Hall at all in this race, and Concert Hall finished in front of her. So there's some iffy form there, but I'm going to hope that she gets back to some of her better form. I'll move on now to Concert Hall. I talked about her a bit when I was talking about Nashwa, but she just has not really been up to top form since her first start of the year. That was a victory by a head over Magical Lagoon, who has since come back to win at Ascot, and then she won the Irish Oak. So form is backed up there, but she was beaten by Homeless Songs in the Irish Guineas. She was beaten by Tuesday at Epsom, and she was beaten badly at the Curragh, and that was what really took me off of her. And had she not had the poor run at the Curragh, I would have been very ready to take her at Belmont Park in the Belmont Oaks, but after the poor effort at the Curragh, I had to look past her in the Belmont Oaks, and she was beaten there by three horses that were better than her on the day. McCulloch, With the Moonlight, and Consumer Spending, the three horses that finished in front of her there. So I don't like Concert Hall in here. I'm fading the form from Epsom. I'll go back and I'm going to skip over a couple of the horses that I want to mention, but that's also the same reason why I'm going to overlook Rogue Millennium here. Just I have to fade the form from Epsom. I will get to Ville de Grace now, 12-1 right now in this best odds at the moment. And she was beaten by Lilac Road and Dreamloper in those two races to begin the year. I think that she's an intriguing price horse, and she does have decent form over a mile and a quarter, two efforts, or I should say two winning efforts, one of them even in a Group 3 at Newmarket back in October, and then she was third, beaten by Saffron Beach at Sandown in August of 2021. So she has good form in her running lines, but because she's been beaten by the horse I like in here, Dreamloper, that's the big thing that I'm going to put against her in this spot now, albeit that was a very narrow defeat by Dreamloper, so that you're getting much more of a price on Ville de Grace than you are on Dreamloper. So Ville de Grace is an intriguing price horse here. But the horse that I'm going to say is my price, because I give my pick, and I like to give a horse that I think could run well at a price. That horse is going to be Fontenay for me. Fontenay had a very weird effort at Newmarket back in April, excuse me. She had the lead throughout the majority of the early part of the race, and then the eventual winner of the race overtook her, but Fontenay came back towards that horse toward the end of the race and ended up only losing by a short neck in there. That was going a mile, so I'm intrigued to see how a mile and a quarter might go for her. I don't really know whether or not, I don't think it's going to necessarily be that much of a hindrance for her, but in her subsequent start, which was in a listed stake at York, she just barely held on by a head there. But given the very weird circumstances of the effort at Newmarket in April, I wonder if getting out to a mile and a quarter might be something that could do good things for her. And again, this isn't for a win thing. I think she could hit the board. 25-1 right now. You're liable to get a pretty good price on her. So the read for this race is, once again, fade Epsom. Dreamloper is going to be my pick. Fontenay is the horse at a price that I think could run a credible effort, placing effort, not necessarily a win, but a place effort for her there. But the big thing is Dreamloper is my pick in this race. And with that being said, that's going to be it for this segment of Racing Rundown Around the World. Be sure to keep posted with Racing Rundown. We are going to have two previews for graded stakes races stateside. We'll have one for the Jim Dandy and for the San Diego Handicap at Saratoga and Del Mar, respectively. There will be links to those in the description of this video, although it's likely that this race will be run before one, if not both of those previews is out. But there will still be links in that one way or another. We'll see you next time. Have a good one.